4 o'clock, and we are delighted to have you here for our virtual membership session number 4. I would invite District Governor Tommy Rosser to offer his welcome comments at this time. Governor? I know he's on here. Governor Tommy?
Okay, I'm sorry. It wouldn't let me unmute myself. Good afternoon, everyone. Rotarians, welcome to session 4 of the Membership Summit. I've heard nothing but great things in all the club visits I've had. I've had 2 today, and so everything is looking well. But I will just ask everyone, please, let's make a priority of membership this year. And let's put some of these all these things we're getting in these membership summits, all the ideas, and let's put them out there and let's make Rotary happen. Let's let membership happen. As a district right now, we brought in 19 new members, but we've lost 26. So we're -7 for the district. So we need everybody. All hands on deck, emergency meeting now. Let's work on membership. So I challenge you to take the ideas today, and let's take them out, and let's grow our clubs, grow Rotary, because the bigger we grow Rotary, the more we can do in our communities and the world. Thanks, everyone, for coming. I look forward to seeing everyone in the club visit, and also celebrating our membership goal on April 16th through the 18th at Grove Park Inn in Asheville, North Carolina. So put it down there. We're going to have 120 new members plus. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Tommy. We certainly appreciate your comments. I'd like to do a quick brief review of where we've been so far on our membership summit. On August the 4th, we had session 1 where past District Governor Mary Berg encouraged us to use Rotary's strategic priorities and objectives as ways to enhance membership experience, attract new Rotarians, and to be more adaptive. On August the 11th, Area 11 membership advocate Lisa Hazlitt encouraged us to consider the ways to adapt membership engagement opportunities as she shared the tips to engage all our club members and to create in the process, a vibrant Rotary Club experience for everyone in your club. Then last week on August the 18th, Area 11 Assistant Governor Ron Pierce shared with us ways to use retention opportunities to bring members back to Rotary so that they're both present and active in their membership and are inviting others to share their Rotary experience. Today we have 3 great speakers to be with us, past District Governor John Spillman, District Governor-elect Chris Justice, and immediate past president of the Global Trekkers E-Club, Kay Daines, and they will share with us the new opportunities of the membership types and club models provided by the Rotary Council on Legislation in 2016 and 19. John will share creative ways to think about the importance of membership, while Chris will share with us how Gate City Rotary achieved success in establishing a satellite club and give us a primer on satellites. And Kay will share with us the value of being a member of an E-Club. I want you to remember that we have resource folders for you for each session that are on the district website at rotary7690.org. And all of the documents are there that will help you begin your process using your club team to formulate a club membership growth plan for this year. Each session is being recorded, and there will be a YouTube link up for you at tomorrow on this session, and they're already there for the other sessions. Look forward today to the presentations that John, Chris, and Kay are presenting for us. John, take it away.
Thank you, Charles. I appreciate that. After 3 weeks of training, 79 commandos and a dog named Cairo lifted off on 4 helicopters to the target. 2/3 of the way through, 2 of the helicopters landed to form the action response team, while the other 2 headed toward the target. The mission was simple: cut the power in the neighborhood, and one of the helicopters would hover above the property while Navy SEALs fast roped down to the ground. The other helicopter would go to the northeast side of the property where the dog, the trainer, the interpreter, and 4 Navy SEALs would secure the perimeter. But something happened called vortex ring stake, and the first helicopter was forced to crash land on the property. At that moment in the White House Situation Room, there was a collective gasp. And some in the room flashed back to the failed Iranian hostage mission. But Navy SEALs have a mantra: find an excuse to win. And the second helicopter landed over on the other side of the property. Navy SEALs scaled the wall, and within 15 minutes, they killed the target. 23 minutes later, the third helicopter arrived and took the Navy SEALs and the dead body off with them. And hours later, President Obama announced to the American people and the world that Osama bin Laden had been killed. Now, I mention this story today because with all that's going on in the world today, we're going to need, whether it's COVID-19, whether it's the election, whether it's social tensions, we're going to need to find an excuse to win this year to grow our membership. And I'm going to share with you today 2 top strategies that our clubs have been utilizing to grow our membership. In addition to that, as Charles has said, we're going to have District Governor-elect Chris Justice talk more in detail about satellite clubs. And then we're going to have Kay Danes talk about how to survive and thrive in a COVID-19 world. So Chris, if you can forward the slide for me. So I want to start with a question. How many shoes do you own in your closet? Now for me, I have nearly 15 pairs of shoes. I have dress shoes. Go back one, Chris. I got dress shoes. I got casual shoes. I got golf shoes. And depending on the day and what the weather is outside, I wear a different pair of shoes when I walk out the door that day. Now, I tell you this because for most of our clubs around the district, they have just one pair of shoes that members, current members and prospective members can wear to be a part of their club. Now, next slide, Chris. And that's the pair of shoes that we all got back in 1905. Now, look, mind you, it is a comfortable pair of shoes. Don't get me wrong. But what I want to talk about is potentially adding a couple other pair of shoes to your wardrobe. Next slide, Chris. And the 3 most common ways to add more shoes or alternative membership types are service choice, corporate, and family. Now, I'm from the Guilford Club, and in our experience, we were having a lot of guests and members love to participate in our over 25 different service projects that we do. Love to participate in fun and fellowship events, but they couldn't allocate the hour and a half to 2 hours out of the day to come to the lunch meeting. And they didn't want to pay for a meal that they didn't get to participate. So consequently, we set up what is called a service choice membership, where these folks can be a full participating member in our club, and then they just pay as they go for meals. And the cost of the membership is 1/3 of what a traditional membership would be. And we found that that helped grow our club because people could plug in our club and not worry about attending lunch each meeting. Now the second pair of shoes I want to talk about are corporate membership types. And this is a way of a local business being able to join your club, rotating that spot so an employee can attend the meeting. And if that meeting's engaging, what we found, like Lisa and Ron have talked about in week 2 and 3, when they were engaged, we found these employees ultimately join the club on their own because they want to be a part of the fun and fellowship, the networking, and the service. So corporate is the second pair of shoes. And lastly, family is a third pair of shoes, and that's where you provide discounts to a spouse or a child or a family member to be a part of the club. So I encourage you to add some shoes to your wardrobe because I think it'll help your club this year find an excuse to win to grow your membership. Now, every year, my college buddies and I fly off to Las Vegas and meet in Las Vegas. And one of our rituals is to go to Morton's Steakhouse. Now, for those of you not familiar with Morton's Steakhouse, the Grey Goose martinis are spectacular. The oysters Rockefeller are sensational, and the steaks are cooked to perfection, and they're wonderful. So bring a big appetite in your American Express card because it's a little more expensive than K&W. But next slide, Chris. But if you want Chinese or Mexican or sushi, Morton's isn't the best restaurant on the strip to go to. And I'll tell you about this because when we think about our district, we have 50 restaurants, roughly, that service 2,500 people around our district. But our district comprises 15 counties and 1.9 million people. If we're going to grow Rotary and capture the people that want to be a part of Rotary, we have to open up more restaurants to serve them and fit their needs. Next slide, Chris. So again, if we're going to grow Rotary long term, we're going to have to open up these restaurants and new clubs. The first we're very familiar with, and that's traditional clubs. Next point, Chris. The second is what we call satellite clubs. And a satellite club is like a franchise from a traditional clubs. It operates independently of the traditional club, sets its own rules, and you only need 8 people to set it up. Chris is going to talk more in depth about that, so I'm going to leave some of the detail to him. And the third way to create a restaurant or a new club is establish a cause-based club. Next slide. So when we talk about cause-based clubs, these are the passions or the interests that people have in their areas. Veterans, first responders, golf enthusiasts, Spanish speaking, social justice. The sky's the limit. And what's important about this is an opportunity to plug into the 1.9 million people that we're not representing and fit their particular needs. Now, let me end with how this has worked in practice in our district. Next slide, Chris. If we look at the top 3 clubs last year that were growing membership, they either had shoes or restaurants or alternative membership types or satellite clubs or both. The top 3 clubs had one of these elements that grew their Rotary numbers. And if you go back to the next slide, last year, or in 2018-19, 2 of our top 3 clubs used alternative membership types to have the best growth numbers. So in short, I really believe if you add more shoes in restaurants or alternative membership types in satellite or club to your mix, I think those will help you find a reason to win this year and grow your Rotary clubs. So now I want to turn the rest of the next program part over to our district governor-elect, Chris Justice, who's a past president of the Gate City Club. Take it away, Chris.
All right, thank you very much, John. And John, by the way, that was a Cosmopolitan, not a martini that you had on your Morton's picture. But I mean, if that's what you drink, that's fine.
Well, hey, thank you, Chris, for that update.
All right. So what I'm offering today is really just one way to do it. You know, as you guys have learned over the last few weeks, there's a number of different ways, you know, to structure alternative memberships. I'm just going to tell you briefly the Gate City story. The first bullet is going to be to find champions. And what I mean by that is you need to find at least a small group of individuals in your club that are willing to do something new and unique. And as all of you know, that can be difficult. I remember when, you know, I first took this idea to the board a couple of years ago, asked Charles Allen to join me to talk to the board. And I think, you know, both of us kind of left with the sense that, you know, it didn't have a lot of traction with that particular board, which was fine, you know, because at the time, I don't know that the satellite idea had been fully vetted even at the RI level. I mean, they'd authorized clubs to, you know, to explore that, and they'd authorized, you know, clubs to allow that kind of membership, but there really wasn't a lot of meat on the bones in terms of the process. So, you know, over the next few months, we learned a lot more about it and really developed ideas on our own. And I don't, you know, want to talk too much about theory on this stuff. I want to really give you guys the nuts and bolts, but I do want to mention one thing that, you know, one of our zone leaders, Stephanie Urchik, you know, is really big on, and that is, you know, leading and not managing. You know, and this is one of those areas where, you know, you are going to get pushback from certain members of your clubs if you decide to do, you know, a satellite or really any of the alternative membership. You know, and so you're going to have to make the call as leaders of your clubs to lead on this issue, and, you know, just recognize that it's not necessarily going to be enormously, you know, popular to everybody. You're going to want to identify your club's goals. And in looking at Gate City, you know, we're a breakfast club. So we're 7 a.m., you know, when we're in meetings. So that's a tough sell for a lot of individuals. Any of you guys that have a breakfast club, I know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to trying to recruit people. So when we looked at, you know, who our potential members were that we were missing, it was, of course, young professionals. And, you know, a lot of clubs have difficulty with that. It's people that didn't necessarily, you know, want to be up at the crack of dawn, or it just didn't fit their lifestyle. So we looked at the opposite end of the day. We said, okay, we're going to target people that can do something towards the end of the day. The other piece that, you know, you hear a lot about is the financial piece. You know, we meet at a very nice venue with expensive meals. So our dues are cost prohibitive. So that's an area that we wanted to address. And we also wanted to, you know, address the demographics issue where we felt we were weak, and that was attracting young professionals. So that's really, you know, what Gate City went through in terms of identifying club goals. And I think that's going to be similar across clubs. We then worked to establish just a basic framework of what this was going to look like. And so really we looked at our goals and said, okay, we know we want a reduced dues structure. So, you know, we looked at, okay, what are those dues going to have to be? You know, there are some must-haves with Rotarians. You know, you're going to have to pay your RI dues. You're going to have to pay the district dues, of course. But club dues and meals can be looked at, and you can come up with alternative structures. So with the Gate City basic framework, we all decided that we wanted to retain our culture of everybody being a Paul Harris fellow and Paul Harris sustaining. You know, so our due structure was basically one in which they paid all the base dues. Of course, there was no meal cost. And the base dues included being a Paul Harris sustaining. As far as becoming an initial Paul Harris Fellow, we came up with a plan where the sponsoring member would use points in order to get the person their initial Paul Harris Fellow to get rid of some of the initial cost for those new members. The next thing that you have to do with your group of champions is to prepare a written plan, because you're going to have to sell this to a board. And, frankly, you're going to run into opposition at the board. So, rather than just go into, a board meeting and spitball on, what this is going to look like, you need to have your well-established framework written up so that you can hand it out to the board members and show them what it looks like in practical terms. And that was a big jump from, Charles and I's initial meeting to what happened, when the board finally did approve it. So let's talk about kind of the nuts and bolts of what we did. There's a bit of a semantics issue when we talk about satellite, and Patrick Eakes and I had a fairly lengthy email discussion about this. You've heard talk about chartering a satellite club. There's a couple of different ways to do it, and they're all viable. What Gate City elected to do was we treat satellite member as a member classification rather than it being an autonomous club. And the reason we did that is we felt like one of the barriers to setting up a satellite club, or really any new Rotary club, were just sort of the institutional barriers in terms of administration. Having to fill a number of leadership roles, and fill in a secretary, getting set up in, the database, all the things that come with club administration. So if you look in Gate City Rotary's DAC-DB, you will see the satellite members are listed as Gate City Rotary members. They're inducted into our club, and they simply have a different membership classification, that being a satellite membership. I've already discussed the different meeting time structure and the no meals due structure. I want to talk about governance for a second. What we decided to do is allow the satellite club to leverage all of the leadership positions that we already have established with Gate City. So they get the use of our treasurer, they get the use of our secretary, and all of the existing infrastructure, but they do have a chair, and that is the de facto leader of the satellite section. Now we don't call that person a president, but they are a chair. And what we've elected to do is to allow whoever the chair is of the satellite to have a seat on our board. So in terms of implementation, what first thing you have to do, of course, is to secure board approval. And from my experience and anecdotally from what I'm hearing from other clubs, if you have your ducks in a row and you can present it in sort of a no-lose scenario to the board, it's going to really be hard for the board to say no. But your champions have to be able to go to the board with a clear plan. And preferably some people that are willing to implement it. Because your existing board is going to be busy with with what their roles are for that year. Let's talk about bylaws for a second. Governor Tommy is telling everybody in his talks that you have to change the bylaws, and that's going to look different for every club. There are some clubs that have extremely detailed bylaws, that may govern everything from board seats to the due structure. Some have looser bylaws. So, regardless of your particular club situation, a bylaw review is going to be very important. You're also going to have to recruit. And this is where your champions come into play again. Your champions are going to need to get out there and really beat the bushes to, to get people to come to the intro meetings. I've already discussed the DAC-DB portion of it. That was really easy under our model. Like I said, it's just a separate membership classifications. And you can, under the new RI rules, you can make whatever membership classifications you like. And lastly, I want to talk briefly about transition to autonomy. It's quite a bit of front-end work for the existing club to get the satellite rolling, especially in terms of recruitment and getting the information out there and, getting people interested. But the transition actually was fairly simple. And what we did is we had existing Gate City members essentially man the meetings for the first 8 meetings. And we basically treated that as a mini Rotary University. I mean, we just discussed all of the details about what it takes to be a Rotarian. We talked about foundation, membership, service projects. And, towards the end of that first 8 weeks, we actually got the satellite club out to do their first service project, which I think got them, to really earn their wings and to understand what being a Rotarian was all about. And I'll tell you, at the time, we had 12 members in the satellite, and I think we got 11 of 12 out to the service project, and one had to be out of town. Otherwise, we would have been 12 for 12. So it definitely worked. I want to say that, and keep in mind, this was launched all during COVID, and I think we started at 11 or 12, and we should be north of 15 in the next couple of weeks. So it's definitely a successful model. My email is not hard to find. If you guys have any questions about it, just hit me up, and I am happy to walk any club through the process in more detail if you feel like you need it. I'm going to turn it over now to immediate past president of the Global Trekkers Club, Kay Danes.
Thank you. This will be interesting. That was wonderful, wonderful presentation. I'm going to talk about how to develop membership attraction in a COVID-19 world. I'd love to tell you the story of how I got involved with Global Trekkers, but that's a really long story. But it essentially involves a couple of gentlemen, John Spillman, Patrick Eakes, and Ray Pfeiffer, who contacted me when I was, go back, I haven't started yet, who contacted me when I was living and working in Saudi Arabia and asked me, do you want to help charter an e-club? I'm like, of course, I'm here in a country that doesn't recognize Rotary. Why not? So that was my introduction to the e-club. We're 4 years old. We merged with the Rotary Club of Walnut Cove, and we meet every Wednesday night, which is my Thursday AM, via Zoom. We love technology. A little bit about our club. Our members pledge $100 from their dues to annual fund share. It's not a mandatory pledge, it's a voluntary pledge. But that helps kick things along, and we can access all that money and do great things throughout the world. John mentioned the alternative tier structures for your fees. Our fees are low and tiered for US, international, and student members. All our members are Paul Harris Fellows, and our club's main focus is education, environment, and food security. Next slide, please. We utilize digital technology like Zoom to meet each week. It's really great. We love it. It helps us build strong networks online and on the ground, so we can have the best of both worlds. We can be an e-club, but we can also meet a lot of the traditional ways of doing Rotary service. And when COVID struck, we were in demand, because then suddenly everyone in the Rotary world, they wanted to become an e-club too. we were initially chewing our fingernails, thinking, oh my gosh, how are we going to thrive in an environment that's been invaded by so many Rotarians? But we just strapped in and we got on with the job, and And we thought, well, let's utilize our strengths here. We can actually lead the way and show other people how to be an e-club. So Raymond Piper, some of you may know of him. He's out gallivanting at the moment on some sort of holiday across America, in an RV with some dogs. And hi, Ray. Yeah, he says, come on, Kay, get on with it. I hear you, Ray. But we shared Ray's model. He has a model of best practice, and he whipped up this thing and sent it out to the district. And it basically told everyone how to use Zoom and how we do it. And so new technology shouldn't intimidate you. It can actually help you get your brand out there and avoid the failings of others who got stuck, like those cavemen up there, cavemen and women, and like the Netflix and Blockbuster story. I particularly put the Blockbuster one in because I know that John Spillman is really big on investments and shares and all that sort of stuff. So I thought you might like that, John. Next slide, please. Okay, so how do we attract members? Well, we do it quite covertly. We always get consistent quality speakers. We get international speakers, very impressive people. You might know some of them on the screen here. And so where we might, we invite them in, we record the meeting with their permission, and then we share it on our website afterwards and in our captain's log that we send out after the meeting, so that people all around the world can enjoy these consistent quality speakers. So where we might have 20 people attend a meeting ordinarily, the online recording really puts our brand out there in the world, and it helps us to attract new members. Using this strategy last year, we actually attracted close to 700 visitors to our meeting and grew our membership by 4 in the first week of this year. So we also create partnerships as a strategy. So we partner with other entities to provide educational resources to students, physical and fiscal aid to food pantries, scholarships for students, music appreciation programs, youth development, and the list goes on. We are a very busy club. Next slide, please. We also attract others by showcasing our diversity. So our members bring individual projects to our club, and this is kind of unique. So we don't have to do all the work because every one of us are doing something. So we just jump on board the great idea that someone else had, and we run with that. So Sally, she's in Australia. She started a rookies band. Deborah conducts English programs and adults for adults and children in Vietnam. Julian, he's an Aussie living in Bogota in Colombia, and he does, go back, he does leadership and education in Colombia. Brittany and Reed, they inspire us with their personal academic achievements. Trish, she developed a free mobile app for social workers and teachers. Florence is involved in global health projects with the Florence Nightingale Global Health Project in the Philippines. Andrea helps people navigate healthcare systems and provides financial advisory services to investors. Kathy did all the work to get our club to the tax exemption status in America. And Ken is into wetlands conservation and organic farming with his daughter Kendall. Next slide, please. Dave organises horse riding for special needs kids in Thailand and facilitates adult education. Romany's our president, and she creates arts for seniors, adult literacy programs, and martial arts for children in Trinidad and Tobago. And Michael Jerome is our newest member, and he brings a wealth of Rotary experience to our club, and recently took part in a cleaning up the river in Cooperstown, New York, where he lives. 1 week in, and he became our Mr. End Polio director. So Michael is now very busy. Our charter president, Ray, who I mentioned, he does so many things that it's impossible to even mention. So strategically aim to attract people who fit your club goals. Go for quality members, not necessarily quantity, and go for experience, because experience and value is really what will help your club grow. This is our Rotary mission in Mexico, and what happened here was we created a synergy with another district to expand our membership traction. So Global Trekker Angel lives in Mexico, and he collaborated with past district Governor Judy Hutchison from District 5840, and Judy's on the call tonight, which is this morning. And they collaborated on they collaborated on a medical mission and in Mexico. And so what this does is it creates new connections for our club. So we can expect to attract new members in Mexico as the work there spreads. Well, obviously post-COVID, but we're setting up for that. We also chartered an international e-global Rotaract club in Mexico, which the past district governor is Lloyd Navarro. Sorry, he's the patron. Can I have the next slide, please? Next slide. Yeah, that one. Yeah, so this is, no, that one. He's challenging me. No, not that one. Go back. Go back. That's the one. Stay there for a minute, buddy. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, PDG Lloyd Navarro is the patron, and that's really cool because he actually speaks Spanish, which is what they speak in Mexico, so that really helps the young people there. And so what they're trying to do now is they're raising money because, you know, treatment for cancer and stuff like that is really go back. He doesn't know us. Is it me? No. Anyway, okay, so that's right. So they're planning to do the mobile dental clinics once COVID is under control there. And they're also raising money to treat cancer in children. The treatment is very expensive, and what they're doing there is collecting bottle tops. And so if you engage, this is the point, if you engage in a broader audience, then you can extend your reach and build membership opportunities, and you can be part of this type of service from anywhere around the world. Next slide. The other key strategy we have, good job, Chris. We value visitors. These visitors are just amazing. And what we do when we have our club, when we start each meeting, is we have a happy dollar. So basically everybody gets to share something really good that happened in the week. We don't have sad dollars and we don't have sergeant fines. And this actually helps us get to know about people. Oh, sorry, big plug for Michael, Mr. Polio. After giving your happy dollar, you go over to My Rotary and pledge that dollar. So that's very important. But the happy dollars helps us to learn the value of our members and what they do. So Claudette, for instance, she's in Brazil and she supports pediatric units in Brazil. Cookie, she talks nonstop about pig stock. So if you haven't heard about pig stock, I would be very surprised. Audley's passion is Rotary membership. And Claudia, she appeared on Dancing with the Carolina Stars and looked very fine. And her passion is the children of Operation Smile. I watched that video so many times. Lloyd cares about the wildlife rescue. And David Morrison, he's in Wilmington. He works hard to raise awareness of sexual violence among individuals with disabilities. And check out the shoes, John. You'll love them. Prince is in Nigeria and he works on food security, medical assistance, education, and a lot of other things. And Christy is our amazing Piedmont editor, but did you know she loves dogs and she runs a dog cabin B&B. So visitors drive brand awareness and appeal. So ask them to maybe introduce a segment, host a changeover, or share district news or something about their club but also get them to tell you about their professional services. This raises the professionalization of your club. And visitor engagement actually enables a small club like ours to have a really big voice. So Global Trekker Andrea recently published a book for children to understand vaccines. Next slide. And she shared that news on our Facebook, inspiring a non-global trekker to purchase the book, which created 13 more likes on that single post. And then past District Governor Lloyd, he jumped on board and bought a box of books for friends and co-workers. And he shared this on his Facebook page, which then generated another 48 people liking that post. Now the district is working with Andrea to generate funds for End Polio Now campaign, which makes our Global Trekker End Polio director, Michael, very happy. So visitors to your club that pay it forward can help open opportunities for membership attraction. In summary, next slide. I just wrap up here. We thrive as an e-club by keeping current, keeping our website and social media pages fresh. We offer a 6-step new member orientation pack that's available on our website. We cater for the time poor and mobility challenge. We seek skilled members who fit our goals, and we work to great philosophies. We believe that a strong, energetic and active membership makes for a strong Rotary enterprise. And I will mention that John Spillman is an honorary Global Trekker. He knows how to do the salute. So on that note, thank you for listening. Embrace the year and all its challenges with a smile and a mask. And come join us for a makeup if you'd like. Thank you. Live long and prosper. We
Thank you
did
so
it,
much.
Chris.
Thank you so
Hey,
much, Kay and John and Chris. You guys have done a great job of giving us information that we need to help us with insightful presentations today, and we thank you for that. And thank you all for joining us today. 133 of us were on today for session 4 of our virtual membership summit. I'd like for you to remember to begin now the process of developing your club membership growth plan for this year, using all of the presentations and the resources that are available to you during this session. And again, go to our Rotary website, rotary7690.org, and you'll find a link right there on the front of the page that gives you the link to each of these sessions and documents that you need to work on your club membership growth plan. In fact, I just got an email. I was checking something over here, and I just got an email from one club that has already completed their club membership growth plan for this year, and I look forward to getting it from all of you. We have a goal of having all of you complete that plan and have it to us, your membership advocate, myself, and the AG by September the 15th. So get to work on that. I'd like to give just a moment of special thanks and appreciation to the District Administrator, Christy Smith, and Area 8 Area Governor Steve Headley for their support of this Zoom process that we've been using these last 4 weeks. I'd also like to acknowledge the efforts of the membership planning team that worked together to put all this together, or you wouldn't have had it. And that's John Spillman, Lisa Hazlitt, Ron Pierce, Dr. Karen Pollard, District Governor nominee Debbie Scott, DRFC Claudia Kennedy, and Zone 33 Rotary Coordinator Patrick Eakes. Without these folks working together, this would have never happened. And we want you to know how appreciative we are for you taking the time from your schedules to be with us for these great events in these last 4 weeks. And all I can do is say thank you, thank you,